Hey there! The Weekend Recap returns for its final episode of this season. So long as I'm not hospitalized and I'm able to work, we'll see you every Monday during the European season. Except the European season is ending, of course. League play is finished at least. Now there's just a big final on the 29th before we go crazy with the Euro 2020 coverage. I can't wait for that. But let's wrap up the top 5 leagues first, ignoring the fact that Benfica capped off their terrible season with a terrible test of the Portugal final that they lost to Braga. We'll ignore that. All of the drama in the Premier League was for the European places. Europa League, Champions League, and Europa Conference League. Don't forget about that guy. The top 2 were already set in stone with City in first and Manchester United in second, but 3rd through 8th still had some sorting to do. But before we get to that, Sergio Aguero had a dream send-off as Manchester City played at home against Everton. After having tributes unveiled in the days prior, he signed off on his Manchester City career by coming on in the 65th minute and scoring 2 goals against Everton to elevate the score and the absolute drubbing that they handed to them to 5-0. In doing so, Aguero moved past Wayne Rooney as the player with the most Premier League goals for a single club with 184. Incredible. And the finishes as well. Typical Sergio. Great assist from Fernandinho, by the way, for that second goal. Oh yeah, and Sergio Aguero started his City career in the Premier League by coming on as a sub and scoring a brace against Swansea, and he goes out by coming on as a sub and scoring a brace. Liverpool and Chelsea both had their destinies in their own hands, and for their part, Liverpool beat Crystal Palace 2-0 at Anfield with a brace from Sadio Mane, after admitting himself that this was his worst season. That will be a nice way to end things and hopefully build toward getting back into that stunning form from the previous couple of seasons for Liverpool. That was also Roy Hodgson's final match with Crystal Palace and his final match as a full-time coach. He hadn't said whether that will be it for him, but at 73, I mean, the guy could definitely use a break, at least. So, Liverpool guaranteed Champions League football with a victory. How did Chelsea do? They went to Villa Park and we saw all the same sort of struggles from Chelsea going forward. They simply labor when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. Chance after chance was either misfired wide or blocked by the heroic Villa defenders, and they were made to pay for it. Villa took the lead thanks to a stunning strike from former Chelsea player Bertrand Traoré in the first half, and they doubled their lead in the second when Traoré drew a penalty that El Ghazi converted. Ben Chilwell did convert from a Pulisic cross. Great finish from him as it just made it over the line. But that was all Chelsea could muster. A 2-1 loss, their 3rd loss in their last 4 matches, meaning they were at the mercy of Leicester, of the Foxes. And Leicester, they were playing at home against Tottenham as this all went down. And what a match that was. A back and forth game that saw Leicester leading 2-1. And at that time, they were going into the Champions League at the expense of Chelsea, but with a Schmeichel howler from a corner kick, Spurs drew level. That meant that at 2-2, and with Chilwell scoring for Chelsea, Chelsea were 4th on goal difference. But Spurs took over from there once Gareth Bale was on the pitch, and with a brace from the Welshman, Spurs won 4-2 over Leicester, and Chelsea tripped and fell over the finish line to qualify for the Champions League next season. Not too pretty from them. We'll take a look at the top 4 and the entire table in a sec, but first, I mean, you gotta talk about how Brendan Rodgers keeps on collapsing in the latter stages of the season. That's twice now that he's been in the top 4, only to drop out. A big shout out to Joe Willock, who scored yet again for Newcastle, making it 7 goals scored in 7 consecutive matches, only the 2nd player behind Shearer to do it for Newcastle. Stunning stat there. Also, West Ham defeated Southampton 3-0 this weekend, so a big congrats to them for finishing in the Europa League places. Huge. They're going on a European adventure. And speaking of which, at the bottom, the relegation clubs were sorted long ago. Fulham and West Brom are heading right back down, while Sheffield United had a 2-season run in the Premier League come to an end. Very disappointing from them and for all of the Blades fans. And at the top, City are your champions, of course, with United 2nd, and Liverpool, what a climb they had to go up to 3rd in the end. Chelsea rounds out the Champions League places. Leicester and West Ham are Europa League bound, while Tottenham will be playing in the Europa Conference League next season. Should be an interesting league. I'm looking forward to it personally. No European football for the first time in 25 years for Arsenal. Everton with a thoroughly disappointing season. But hey man, I told you about Carlo Ancelotti. He's not a builder. He makes good teams great. And of course, a big congratulations to Harry Kane for getting yet another Golden Boot and winning the Playmaker of the Year award for having the most assists, 2 above Kevin De Bruyne. What a season Kane had in spite of it all. And of course, guys, we will go through all of my predictions and see how they compare to you guys. Remember, we did that sort of prediction league thing. We'll announce the winner from that as well. Just as the table was mostly sorted in England prior to the final match day, the same could be said of Germany. At the bottom, Arminia Bielefeld and Köln were both trying to avoid relegation playoff, with Köln needing to beat Schalke and Arminia to lose in order for them to guarantee safety. Well, Köln did beat Schalke, but Arminia Bielefeld also got a 2-0 win over VfB Stuttgart to ensure that things would stay as they are. Köln in 16th and Bielefeld in 15th, their heads just above water. Köln will take on Holstein Kiel in the relegation playoff on the 26th and the 29th of May. Then there was Werder Bremen, who could have guaranteed their safety with a win over Borussia Mönchengladbach, Marco Rosa's last match with the side. No easy task, and it was a task that was beyond Bremen. Bremen fell 4-2 at home, meaning they were relegated for the first time in 41 years. Pretty tragic stuff for their fan base, but not so much a surprise based on their form alone. Bremen hadn't won a match since March 10th, so it was a poor season from them. The top four was already sorted, however, just a reshuffling of the pack a bit in the end. Borussia Dortmund got a 3-1 win over Bayer Leverkusen as Erling Haaland got a brace to take his goal tally up to 27 on the season. 27 from 28 appearances, not too shabby at all. Dortmund were in danger of not making top four, and look at that, they end up in third. Another lethal marksman in Andre Silva also scored on the final match day up against SC Freiburg as Eintracht Frankfurt won 3-1. Philip Kostic with a brace of assists as well, as he finished second in the assist column for the entire league with 14. He was 4 behind Thomas Muller. Unfortunately for Frankfurt, their fate had already been sealed in the Europa League. Not exactly a bad competition to play in, of course, but they were so close to Champions League football. It was in their grasp and they let it slip. But still, solid season for Andre Silva, who finished with 28 goals from 32 appearances. That's a very good turnout for him. But again, he's playing with an absolute alien in this league, so. Top four was already secured, but Wolfsburg fell 3-2 against one of the most informed sides in the latter half of the season, FSV Mainz. Mainz were in terrible form in the first half of the season, but from February onward, they lost just twice in 15 matches to finish comfortably above the relegation zone. Just to put that into perspective for you, they lost 13 of their opening 19 matches. They were down bad. Of course, the big story was Union Berlin defeating RB Leipzig 2-1 to ensure that they will be playing European football next season in the Europa Conference League. This is what we like to see. This is what I like about the Conference League. Stories like this. A team that is playing in just its second season in the Bundesliga. Now the fans will get some European football. It's going to be an amazing experience for them. And of course, Bayern Munich said goodbye to a trio of club servants in Boateng, Alaba, and Javi Martinez, while they also honored a new Bundesliga record holder in their 5-2 rout of Augsburg. With the score at 4-2, Lewandowski latched onto a rebound, rounded the keeper, and scored his 41st goal of the Bundesliga season, and thus breaking Muller's record. An incredible achievement. 41 goals from just 29 appearances for Lewandowski. It's scary to think about what numbers he would have reached if he had played in those 5 extra matches, in the total 34. So Bayern in first, Leipzig just hang on to second, Dortmund in third, and Wolfsburg in fourth. In the Europa League spots, Eintracht Frankfurt and Bayer Leverkusen, while, as we said, Union will play in the Conference League. At the bottom, Schalke and Werder Bremen are going down for sure, 2 mainstays, at least in recent history in the Bundesliga, while Köln are in the relegation playoff. The title went down to the final day in Spain as either Real Madrid or Atletico could have taken it home. Real Madrid needed to win while Atletico lost, while all Atletico had to do was, get an equal result to that of Real Madrid, and they would be champions. Real Madrid draw, all they would need is a draw. Real Madrid win, they have to win. So Atletico played away to Real Valladolid, a side that was playing to avoid relegation on their final day and would no doubt be keeping an eye on the Huesca and Elche results, the only teams they could hope to survive at the expense of. Well, Valladolid got themselves in the lead after 18 minutes through Oscar Plano, and the nerves would have been hitting the Atleti players for sure. A couple minutes later, Villarreal scored against Real Madrid, so as things stood, Atleti were fine. They had some breathing room, so long as Real Madrid didn't score. And in the second half, Atletico equalized in the 57th minute. Carrasco once again with the assist. What an important player he's been. This time for Angel Correa, 1-1. Real Madrid was still losing 1-0 against Villarreal, which was great news for Atletico Madrid. 10 minutes later, Luis Suarez scores to put Atleti 2-1 up with his 21st goal of the season. Real Madrid had a late flurry that saw them win 2-1 over Villarreal, but Atleti held on to the result to become champions of Spain for the 11th time in their history, and for the first time since 2014. Massive for them, and a massive you from Luis Suarez to Barcelona, as he was told that he was too old to succeed at this level, and he goes on to score 21 goals, the same he scored 2 seasons ago at Barcelona, and won the league while Barcelona finished in third. Speaking of Barcelona, let's look at the table, as Antoine Griezmann's goal gave them a 1-0 win over Eibar. They finished in third, as we said. Sevilla played on Sunday against Deportivo Alaves, and no matter the result there, they knew that they would be finishing in fourth. Real Sociedad finished the season with a 1-0 win to ensure that they would be playing Europa League football once again, and with Real Betis winning and a Villarreal loss, Betis is also in the Europa League. Good job, Manuel Pellegrini, in his first season with them. Villarreal will be playing in the Conference League. At the bottom, Eibar, Valladolid, and Huesca are all heading down. Elche and Getafe just barely surviving there. In Italy, we already knew that Inter were champions, and they ended the season in style with a big 5-1 win over DePaul FC, Udinese. Young, Eriksen, Lautaro, Perisic, and Lukaku in amongst the goals for this one, as Lukaku took his tally up to 23 on the season. Couple that with his 11 assists, and my goodness, what a season he had in this title triumph. An integral piece to that puzzle. At the bottom, the relegation-bound sides were already sorted, so let's focus on the big battlefield of the final day, top 4. First, there was Milan taking on Atalanta, and thanks to, yes, 2 more penalties for Milan. They certainly win a lot of those, don't they? They overcame Atalanta 2-0 and actually jumped all the way up to second place in the standings, but more importantly, secured Champions League football for the first time since the 2013-14 season. That's huge. Back where they belong. Juventus, they destroyed Bologna 4-0 with Ronaldo sitting on the bench for the entirety of that match. Chiesa, possibly Juve's best player in the latter half of the season at least, opened the scoring after 6 minutes, and before the half was up, Morata and Rabiot grabbed a goal each to make it 3-0. Morata got a second on the opposite side at halftime to make it 4-0, and a late goal from Bologna's Orsolini made it 4-1 in the end. Comfortable win for Juve, but not a very comfortable night, was it? We'll get to that in a second. But great performances from Morata, Kulusevski with an assist, Dybala chipping in. It was solid from Juve. They did their part. The other team that had a say in their future? Napoli, who started the final match day in 4th place and had a tricky meeting with Hellas Verona to close out the season. With Juve dominating in their match to put them above Napoli, Napoli finally took the lead against Verona via Ramani after an hour. As things stood, Napoli were going to play Champions League football next season. All they had to do was win. But it only lasted 9 minutes. That Champions League football only lasted 9 minutes for them. It took Hellas Verona 9 minutes to equalize via Davide Faraoni, and Napoli didn't have an answer. They looked flat in the second half until about the 85th minute or so, and they couldn't find a winner. Petagna came close with the last action of the game, his header going just wide, but it wasn't enough to get the winner. Napoli didn't make it. 1-1. Gattuso was sacked after, by the way, meaning table time. Napoli drop out of the Champions League. Juventus just slip in by the skin of their teeth in 4th place. Atalanta in 3rd, Milan 2nd, and Inter 1st. Roma and Sassuolo were trading places in the table as Roma labored against Spezia, but eventually did enough to finish in the Conference League spot, with Lazio and Napoli ahead of them in the Europa League. In France, it was a similar situation to that of Spain in Lille, in that Lille just had to equal the result of PSG in order to become champions for the first time in 10 years and for the 4th time in their history. PSG, they took on Stade Brestois and were a bit wasteful with their finishing at times, but still ended up winning. The first goal was an unfortunate own goal from Romain Favre. The second for PSG was a goal from Kylian Mbappe in the 71st minute, in which he did a pregnancy/baby celebration. So Daddy Mbappe incoming. That was that for this match, which actually saw Neymar miss a penalty in the 19th minute as well. Fully missed, rolled it past the post. Bit of a surprise. Lille were playing away to Angers, an Angers side that really dominated this match. Twice the opportunities, but Lille were killers on the day once again. They finished off their opportunities. First, we had a beautiful link up from Renato Sanchez and Jonathan David to give Lille the lead. And of course, it wouldn't be a Lille victory without a Burak Yilmaz lately, and Yilmaz scored, this time from the penalty spot, to make it 2-0 at the half. 2-0 and Lille coasting in the second half, perhaps a little bit too much at times as it was touch and go, but Angers didn't find a goal until the 92nd minute. 2 on the final. Lille, the champions of Ligue 1 for the 4th time in their history. You love to see it. A bit of a switch up, some change, something new here. Elsewhere, we saw Monaco draw with Lens and Lyon lose to Nice. Third and fourth, both dropping points, so Lille will be in the Champions League as your champions of Ligue. PSG and Monaco join them. Lyon, who by the way sacked their manager, and Marseille are in the Europa League, while Rennes will take part in the Europa Conference League. Okay, that wraps up the season and the weekend recap for the time being. The next thing on the docket is of course the Champions League final, which we will be able to watch together during a watch along if you so choose. And of course the Europa League final on Wednesday. Not sure if I'll do a watch along for that one yet, but I mean, we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. My name's Adrian, and I'll catch you later in some videos throughout the week, that's for sure. Okay? Ciao.